Hello, everybody, wherever you are on the planet. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. This is Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes' performances and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And you are watching, and you are tuning in, better yet, to Athletics and Chill, episode 3. The topic of today is track and field a joke to the rest of the world? Is track and field doomed? Because what we're seeing here is a very interesting thing, right? We are seeing people, once we were bringing up the Diamond League championships and everything, well, we'll get into that in a second. We're going to let everybody come into here since this is a live stream. We're going to let people filter in to the Athletics and Chill. Like I said, this one is more of a chill conversational vibe. If you guys want to call in, I just got a call-in number so that we can have people to have a call-in, because at first I was using Blog Talk Radio, and we might go back to Blog Talk, but as the channel is bigger now, we might actually be able to allow calls. So I got a Skype number that people can call in. Also, like I said, we can always do Zoom. Because I know some things, they have a toll number and everything like that. But today, like I said, it's Athletics and Chill. We just coming out here doing our thing, just chilling out, and you got a cup of coffee in the morning. You eat your popcorn, whatever it is, sit down, relax. We just in chill vibes today. So thank you all that are coming out to this, because this is going to be an episodic trend. This is something we're going to do in the off season and in season, right? During the off season, like what's happening now, we got one more track meet. Or we got actually 5 more track meets for this season before it's over. But during the off season, this is something that we can do. It's something fun, chill and relax. If you guys want to come up with topics, definitely join the Patreon, because that allows you to come up with the next topic. Because it was really hard for me to think about the next topic. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So we can talk about, is it a joke to the rest of the world? Chime in with your opinions as well. How are you guys doing this morning or afternoon or wherever you are? How are you guys doing? Let's see. We're letting everybody filter in. Okay. So the number to call, if you would like to call in, here it is. It is 1-832-564 3664. All right. Once again, that is 1-832-564-3664. And you can call in with that number. That's the call-in number right there. But anyway, like I said, we're going to discuss whether athletics is doomed as a joke to the rest of the world. So thank you for tuning in. Here we go. I was just covering the women's 100. So we're going to go to something else because I recorded a video about Brianna Williams. Let's go to some other thing. This was a great duel right here. I'm personally glad that Faith Kipyegon won. But let me zoom out so that I can actually see what is necessary on here. Another record falls as Thompson Hero claims a Diamond League crown. Nice. So here's the competitions. This is part of it. Because what I've been told is that track people are weird. Okay, a buddy of mine was saying, hey, track people are a little bit strange and weird, and people outside of the track circuit and everything don't understand it. And I'm just like, aren't people weird in general? And then weird is subjective. But yeah, track people are a little bit strange. Like we do that little, well, some people do. I've never done it myself, where they do the side to side bob. And I even saw it. I'm like, why do people go from left to right and right to left and everything? I don't necessarily understand that. I just don't understand it myself personally. But it is what it is. So, is track and field a joke to the rest of the world? We're about to go into this and explore. So, people are comparing the Diamond League, and I kept bringing up, hey, you get $30,000. Here it is right here. Here are the rules. Here's the point system. I'm glad that they're developing a point system now, because it makes it easier. Each year, especially led under Sebastian Coe, like when he took over and he said, yo, we're changing direction. When he took over London 2012, They voted him back in unanimously because the changes that he made track and field more entertaining. Now we got the World Relays, right? Now the Diamond League has expanded. They started it just before he came in. It used to be called a different name, but then it got renamed as the Diamond League, right? So now we got the point system. There are 13 meetings. So now it's something that we can see. We can put our claws into. The audience, the field, everybody can recognize something like this. It's like the Premier League here. It's like a tennis tournament. That's what people kept comparing this to already. If we're just now readjusting this, as of 2010, I think the Diamond League started. Now it's the Wanda Diamond League, right? If 2010 is when we just started, don't we need to at least come away and start, using, I don't know, sense and give them time? Just like on the next video, I'm going to talk about Brianna Williams, right? And I was talking about whether she should change coaches or not. And then I made the argument against that. Well, on this case, shouldn't we give, track and field some time? Because guess what? Time and time and time again. Does the Olympics pay athletes? No, they got to depend on sponsorships. Guess what? An Olympic silver medalist might not get a sponsor. An Olympic bronze medalist might not get a sponsor. Tom Walsh, did you know that he has that For Hire shirt on? And you guys say you see that all the time. He don't got a sponsor. He's out there competing. And guess what? He's an Olympic bronze medalist. No sponsor. Now that's in the shot put. It's a little bit less of I guess, appealing to sponsors and everything because people aren't really watching it as much, I guess. But should an Olympic bronze medalist really not have a sponsor? I mean, you can't get them Muscle Milk or something like that. They don't want to take them on. That's crazy. Red Bull don't want to take them on like they do the pole vaulters and whatnot. So we come up with this system here: 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 points for ranking 1st through 8th. So it's basically flipping it on his head. And you get paid for all of these, right? So the point system, okay, 1st place, you get 8. Then it's 2, 7. So it's basically flipping it on the inverse, all the way down to 1. Now here's the prize money. Okay, they said, I think you should have to finish in the top 3 at least once to make the Diamond League Finals, Mr. Max said. I don't agree with that at all. I get tired of this top 3 thing. If it's top 3, then I personally don't care for it. I don't care for the top 3 stuff. It said, I don't care for the top 3 thing. Institute Roy, what's up? I guess you retracted the message after saying what's up. But yeah, I don't really care for it. And South Croy, I do agree. Sebastian Coe was a special athlete. Him and his dad had him like business minded already. His dad had him business mind as well as, hey, here's the plan how we gonna get you to become world record holder, having a car behind him while he's running and everything. So I think you said H&T. That's probably why you probably changed it and did that. But what's up, guys? So look, prize money. You got $10,000 here. You got $6,000 for second. $3,500 for third, all the way down to $500, and then they got smaller prizes or something when they have 9-lane runners in the sprints and 12th place finishers in distance races, which is nice, right? Which is nice. So the thing is that I think that's important. Then when you get to the final, it's 30,000 smackaroonies. Now, obviously, people said it was more. At one time, I think it was $50,000. It went down to 40. Now, this is depending on the people that are coming out and watch it. Something tells me it might go up to 35 to 40 next year because obviously we had the sniffles and people got all in a hissy fit. Well, the government's got on a hissy fit and convinced people to get in a hissy fit. And then we had people locked down and everything. So they couldn't have people come out to the stadiums. They couldn't have people come out to the stadiums. So what do you guys think about this? People kept comparing this to the majors of tennis and saying, well, last place gets $75,000 and the winner gets like $3.5 million. Well, there's a lot more people watching tennis than there is with track and field. I think we can agree upon that. That is way more popular. So what's the point of even saying that? Okay, if you bring it up, then maybe we can grow to that point. Because the fact that so many people kept bringing it up, it was more than one in the stream that I did yesterday, that they were talking about tennis. Great. Okay, that means basically you're saying the joke. It's a joke. It's a joke in a drop in the bucket with track and field getting this money. Oh, okay. Oh, that's cute. They get $10,000. I guess with 13 of them, you get $130,000. Obviously, it's local tax. That's what I found out. Local tax takes out of that. You got your own tax that takes out of it. And then obviously you got to pay for travel and all of these things. That's why Elaine Thompson Hero is based in Italy. It's a lot cheaper to already be based in Europe if you're going to do the Diamond League circuit and get your money than it is if you were in Jamaica. Then you got to fly out, come back, fly out, come back, fly out. Because some of the times those tickets round trip is $2,000 there. That means if you get fourth, it ate up your ticket, but you actually lost money because you got to pay your agent. You got to pay for food, hotel. Well, actually, if you're a high profile athlete, they're going to pay for your hotel for you. That's what I found out. So, okay, you don't have to do that, but you got to pay for your ticket, your flight. You got to pay your athletic trainer and everything. Obviously, they get appearance fees, but what if you're not? I'm assuming if you're not the high profile athlete, you are going to pay for your hotel. You are going to pay for that. So for people, they're thinking is this. Oh, okay. They said a lot of people make finals by running a lot of races. That's fine with me. I don't care. That's great. They get enough points. They rack it up. They deserve to be there. If that's how the point system goes, I think that's great. I'm not about to bar them out because just like somebody in tennis, the best tennis players do not always make it into that final round. Sometimes the tennis players tire themselves out, the best tennis players, because they get matched up with somebody like that marathon match. That was one of the best tennis players. He got knocked out after the marathon match that lasted so many freaking hours. And then his arm was too tired. He was knocked out. I mean, it just happens sometimes. So I don't personally think that you need to finish in the top three. That's unreasonable to me because then, all right, the distance races have way more people in them than they are for the sprinters. Then that just knocks them out. The long jumpers or something. Essentially, what happens? Let's do it this other way. Let's say that you were right. Top three. What happens if these people come out on every single meet and they just finish in that? That means you'll have three people in the final. By your rule, it'll be three people in the final in the field events, because the field eventers get paid less for appearance fees than the sprinters. So they're more likely to compete at every single one of these, or more likely to compete at most of them than they are for the sprinters. Same thing with distance runners. You're thinking maybe for the 100, but the 100 so high profile. I did my research. The net worth for Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, for the data that we can find, 4 million. Net worth for Allison Felix, and she's going all the way through from the 100 all the way up to the 400. Guess what? 4.5 million. She barely has more money than Shelly Ann Fraser-Price by $500,000 on net worth. Now, obviously, that number is not including what they're spending and all of that. But that's counting all of the data that we know. I don't know about the appearance fee money. We don't know about their direct contract all the time. But just based on what we can articulate and what we can calculate at max, Allison Felix got $5 million net worth from just like that maxed out, ability right there. Why? Because the 100 is a highlight premier event. The 200 is not. The 400 is not. The 4x1 is not. Right? The pole vault is higher on that event than it is for the 100. Let me see. Now, with that being said, let me see. They said track and field is a poor man's sport. I don't want it to be a poor man's sport. That's what this YouTube channel is about. That's why I always do things and people are like, oh, why are you pocket watching? We need to talk about how much these people are. They're not a regular person like you and I. And even I did talk about the money that I have, a portion of it at least. We need to do that. And that was hopefully to inspire people, right? Now, we need to pocket watch some of these bigger people. Why? The reason why we get paid so poorly And the reason why I got paid as an announcer more than the officials in USATF, and they did that for volunteering, is because people view track and field as a joke, right? They laugh at it. People are looking at, oh, okay, why would I do that? Even what's his name from the NFL came in. He didn't know anybody's name that he competed against. You know why? Because when he had the interview, he was like, yeah, these Olympic athletes and these great athletes. He didn't even know who he was standing next to. He didn't know that he was standing next to, I think, Mike Rogers or whoever finished and won that. The NFL players are looking at him like that. And then they were like, oh, would you like to come over and, lose some weight? I think I forgot who was the guy that held the mic. I always think it's Bolton, but it's not. Because he's doing the announcing, not the interviewing. And it's thing, I forget his name offhand, but that's not important. He's over there, darn near half smiling and laughing. He can't think of the people's name. That's how little of track and field it is. He didn't take the time to at least know who he was competing against. It's more like, hey, I'm training, I'm going to come out here. And heck no, it would be dumb for him to come over to track and field, really. With the amount of money that he can make in one freaking game, based on averaging, cutting out his paychecks and dividing it through a year on one game in the NFL, he's probably making more than several of these meets that these track athletes are doing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They said endorsements make up the difference. They said great point on the distance races. Institute Roy said. Mr. Max said just once in the Diamond League series. I don't think that's much to ask. They used to only give points to the top three. I'm not saying go that far. Well, Mr. Max, I don't think that we should do that. Well, they used to give points for just only the top three, and look where that got track and field. There's a reason why you're now doing it. Because think of it like this. The fact that you're saying that they need to do that means we're putting more emphasis on the top three. Look at this. Okay, let's go here for a second. And this is why it becomes a joke. Who is the fourth best athlete in the USA on the women's sprinting? I know a lot of y'all are maybe concerned more with the Jamaicans, right? But who's the fourth best athlete off the top of your head? Who typically is the fourth best athlete in Jamaica on the men's side? You don't know. Because when I put up these athletes and I know them and I'm like, oh man, this guy, did you know that he did the first round? He helped make the 4x1 so that Usain Bolt would be rested in the final. That's good, right? He helped this team so Usain Bolt and others, Johan Blake, don't have to run through the rounds as they're running through the rounds in the 1 and the 2. Like, why? And then you guys don't even know who the athletes are. And then it's like, wait a minute, huh? Yeah, Jenna Prandini and everything. Talu, I'm not asking. I said fourth best in the USA. He brought up Talu. Talu's for the Ivory Coast. But yeah, I get what you're saying. They said if Shelly Ann were an American, she would be a megastar. I don't know. I don't know. I could agree that she might be a little bit more popular. But I don't know. I don't know about megastar, quote unquote. Because she would dominate so much, maybe. That's relative. Because Allison Felix, with as much media that she gets back into her, I was going to bring up the list, but I decided not to. I could just say it out loud. With the media that she gets toward her, it's like, okay, she's only got a 4-point. Let me bring this up here. Nah, I could do that later. You guys could do the research. If it becomes important later on in the conversation, we'll bring it up. But he said I wasn't listening carefully, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, but look, if it comes to that, then shout out to Camellia and Insaduda Roy for actually doing a Cash App this morning. Thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't even realize that. It said pending, but now it's through. So thank you guys. Camellia be coming out every single time up on this thing. And Insaduda Roy, thank you for that, for the Cash Apps. Shout out to you guys because you guys support the channel and everything. And don't forget to smash the like button. With that being said, look, this is why it's good that we're developing this. Because if we leave it to top three, then we literally go into the top three thinking top three ain't the only important people. Here we go. Let's look on this list. Actually, I am going to do that for a second. Let's go to, let me open this in a new link so I can leave this up. So let's go to our sport and our stats, right? Because yes, They said Allison Felix is chilled though. Shane Greaves. They said Mate Black. Matt Black. I think that's what you're saying. The V is replacing the A, I think. She would have been, to be honest, she has 3 100-meter gold medals in the 100. Richardson became a star because of winning trials. I think she became a star because of the weed incident and Michelle Obama and some certain other things. Think of what's his name in the NFL. Remember his interview? He said, "I'm just here so I won't get fined." Like, that's what he said. He kept saying it over and over, and that drew him to higher stardom. He was just there. Obviously, he's good, and he was getting attention. But then he became the de facto NFL guy because he said, "I'm just here so I won't get fined." He even had commercials of him saying those things over and over, right? That drew him more sponsorship. Sometimes it literally is outside circumstances, and that's fine. It's going to be a random situation that has nothing to do with your athletic ability, nothing to do with his playing, nothing to do with that. And yet that drew him up to stardom. Obviously, an NFL player of his stature, he's very good, would have been a star already, but then he did that and it drew him up. That's what Richardson, I'm trying to keep telling every single time. We have to learn how to capitalize on it, or else track and field is a joke. Part of the reason why it's a joke is because everybody knows, just like you said earlier, Steve Patrick, track and field is a poor man's sport. Why? Why is it a poor man's sport? That's like saying a musician or an artist, somebody that draws, a graphic designer or something, should be broke because they do art. I get tired of it. I did graphic design before, and I'm not about to be taking no pay, low pay. I'm not that type of person. The only low pay I'm doing is technically on this channel because I'm being supported by you guys that do super chats and cash apps, because the ad money revenue is sometimes cut because I get demonetized. It is what it is, right? And so you guys are here, but then I think I have a vision of myself in the future. All right, this is what I got to do in order to grow this. This is the business aspect of it. If I grow this, I make this much, I can help influence potentially policies or something that goes through in some federations around the globe. Hopefully that's what I'm thinking of myself. And then if I'm big enough as an influence, no matter how much USATF might hate me, no matter how much some of these sponsors might hate me because I do videos on them, if I draw the crowds myself, which I'm the fastest growing YouTuber that's in this section of track and field, right? Literally, it's not even close. Well, if I draw the crowds out and I talk about different subjects, they have no choice but to come to me. They have no choice but to come to me because I'm the one that's bringing out the crowds. Now, that's the same thing with Richardson. It becomes, if you draw the crowds like Shelly Ann Fraser-Price does internationally, that's one thing. If I cross over into bringing non-track people, and I've got at least 12 of y'all here that don't know anything about track, but y'all come here because they're like, wow, he's entertaining, he's funny, right? If I cross over into non-track people, I'm unstoppable at that point. That's my goal. I'm trying to get non-track people to be interested in track, to come out here, and then we get that type of thing. That's going to be very hard to do. Very, very hard to do. They said, we keep saying we won't talk about Forrest Gump. All we do is talk about Forrest Gump. LOL. Shane Greaves said, she's an athlete. I'm going to talk about her. I'm not going to make subjects around her, but I am going to bring her up because when it's important, I will bring her up. Otherwise, I'm not going to randomly do that. Now, some people here, that's what they're going to do. She has a following. She has a fan base. So that's what it is. But I'm not going to surround it around it. So I don't want people to get confused that I'll never talk about her. I didn't bring her up yesterday when I did my live stream. She wasn't at those meets. I'm bringing her up today because of the subject matter of payment and money and influence. That's why I'm bringing her up. So that's why, because she got famous there. I gave a corollary. If you don't see the connection, I don't know what to say, because I brought her in with the subject matter of just like the NFL player. So that's what I'm trying to say. He got famous because of non-athletic thing he did. Same way she's got famous because of something she didn't do on the track. And you can't control for that. That's a black swan event. So what Shelly Ann Fraser Price would have to do is she has to be more of an entertainer on the track, like what Usain Bolt did. He got more famous because of his entertainment, and then he capitalized on it because year after year he was a great athlete. If Shelly Ann Fraser Price did more than what she does on the track, which is she did a celebration thing, right? And she smiles, and her smile, she has a pleasing face, right? And I can say that probably with most people because they don't look at Elaine Thompson-Herah the same way. Multiple people have said it. I've read it over the years. It's just something about her. So Fraser Price has something that does that. She brings different hairstyles. She stands out with that way, right? That's her way of standing out. That's her way of doing it. Well, we still a joke because it's just track and field. That's what people say. It's just track and field. So my answer to the question here, are we a joke to the rest of the world? The answer would be a resounding yes. From the different places I've been, from people outside and inside this country, it's just track and field. Soccer is regarded as not a joke. It's so serious, people fight over it. They will probably take somebody else's life, unfortunately. That's not even good. I think that we can bring it from joke status the very moment the Diamond League does this. Okay? Let's say there's $30,000. And then, like I said, one day on my birthday, I'm going to do it. And my birthday's in June. One day on my birthday, I'm going to have $1 million race and I'm going to just put it up. And every year I'm going to do it. I'm just going to be like, this is the $1 million race. And I'm probably going to try to sell $1 million coffee to somebody. It's going to be extremely rich people. I'm like, look, $1 million coffee. This is your network. If I ever bump arms with some influential people, in order to get into that, it's going to be $1 million coffee. That's essentially saying you paying for a meeting and whatnot. So, yeah. So if they up this where the final prizes become $120,000, right? Then the athletes are probably more prone to show up. Now we do this. Then they have maybe they don't need to rely more on appearance fees, but maybe appearance fees are still important, right? Because if we have a tournament, what if you start having this tournament where 8th place now gets $30,000? Let's put it the other way. 8th place is $30,000. How many people would be coming out here if 8th place was $30,000 and then the win was like $150,000? Now, we multiply that by, what is that? 20, how many events did they have? 32 events. We got 32 events. Let's go to the big number calculator. Take the money I made in Bitcoin off the freaking screen. Let's say 32 events times $150,000. No, that's only what? $15,000. $150,000. That means they're giving out $4.8 million. I think that's what they give out now total. Matter of fact, let me look at the competition numbers. Yeah, they give out 8 million. So that's about a little bit less than half. That means you got to up the prize money for everything else too. But if it were something like that, oh my goodness, things would be putting out. They said, Mr. Max said, I think she should start her own hair brand. I think y'all probably still talk about Richardson. Now, see, that's why I say if y'all talk about Richardson, then that's y'all talking about it. Me, I'm not. See, that's why I said I'm not doing it. Y'all doing it. Don't confuse the subject matter. If that's who you talk about. If you're talking about Shelly Ann Fraser Price, I think she is doing some hairstylist thing here or something like that. They said, Institute Roy. Yes, Great Britain had major riots over football matches. Some countries even banned Britons for a while. Gosh dang. That's funny. They banned them. Now, I remember that football matches can end disagreements and wars and stuff, and that's happened. I think that happened at the World Cup in 2006. That ended a potential war that was about to happen. So it can work both ways. It could probably start a war. Like, is that serious? It could start a war and it could end one. I want to see that the potential riots. I don't want to see it actually, but people be fighting over NHL, the hockey league, and hockey is one of my favorite sports actually. So yeah, Asante, what's up? What's up? Shout out to you. So yeah, that's where it is. But if you can give out $150,000 to the winner and then last place, okay, here's 30,000. Let's calculate this out. That's 30,000. How much are they giving out? So a 960,000. So that's almost a million. That means everybody else in between is getting some money too. So essentially, and that would be higher because this is 8th place. Remember, this is 8th place. So we probably are going to have to up it where each meet is basically giving out, or the Diamond League final is giving out high amounts. But how are we going to take us from the joke status that where we are? Because yes, I keep emphasizing $30,000 and the diamond because I'm trying to say, okay, cool, 30,000. That's where we're at. And then people in the comment section are like, athletes need to get paid more. Yes, that's the thinking we need to have. They need to get paid more. But in order for them to get paid more, this is what they're going to have to. Uh-oh, I got a beep. Okay, that's my stream is still up. But in order for them to get paid more, what are we going to have to do? Well, they got to make more money off us, right? That's essentially what's going to have to happen. There's a certain level of profit that they're going to have at each track and field meet. Now, this isn't including the announcers that they got to pay, right? This isn't including the officials they got to have, the health insurance they have to have, which I think is cheaper than what a lot of people think, because I looked at hosting a track meet and it's cheaper. But with that many events and everything, I wonder. It doesn't cover the television back. They said, Asante said, we need less weaves and fake hair in the community, not more. Any public figure that starts a hair biz would be doing just that, unless strictly natural. But anyway, back to track. Yeah. As far as the hair and everything, I even got somebody that said men and women are different. I literally responded with 2 paragraphs about how I said the people in my life, I don't have them. If they don't have natural hair, we ain't there. The exception would be braids, because that's a little, in my mind, a little bit different. But they're still wearing their natural hair about 90% of the time. If you got to put on fake up, I don't want you. Like a little bit here and there, whatever. That can be fine as an accentuation here and there, but I need you to match my my good chocolatey skin the way that your chocolatey skin should be, right? That's the way I have it. So back to track, as we said, but that does have to do with track a little bit. But anyway, oh, and last comment on that. Hey, if somebody gonna capitalize on it, I'd rather see a brown skin woman do it than somebody else. If I gotta be biased here for a second. Hey, if it's going to happen anyway, may as well have somebody that matches my skin color do it than somebody that doesn't. If we got to do tribalism and skin color, right? So how do we get us from joke status? After we said all of this, how do we get us out of joke status? Well, I gave us one clue. What do you guys think, right? We got a call-in number if you guys are interested in that. It's 832-564-3664. 832-564-3664. If you guys want to call in, the phone lines are now open. If you want to discuss how you think we are a joke right now and how we can get out of joke status, right? Another thing is that, oh yeah, definitely smash that like button so we can get more visible. The comments actually help us as well. With the visibility, the more you guys comment, the more it actually shows with other people as well. Hell yeah, B1. So here we go. World Athletics Continental Tour. Here's another one. The more we take us out of joke status, this is what has to happen. So we have to have something like the Continental Tour here. So we get Sharika Jackson, the big members, and everybody to come in, right? Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, Michael Norman. So we get the big names to come in. Then we have different leagues, league tournaments, right? This is how we get out of here. And they've been developing this very well. First, they changed the name from IAAF. They understand, wait a minute, this French naming of this is not appealing to everybody else. Just like Nintendo said, we were the Nintendo Revolution, and then they changed it to Wii, and then they sold like crazy, but then they had horrible games, so then nobody bought their games. I was like, what the heck? Rip off, scam. But the name in itself kind of helps. World Athletics is much more appealing than it is for, and their logo. Like, this is a fantastic logo. than it was with IAAF. And they found that out the hard way over the years. They said, do you think all that hair slows women down on the track? I always think it has to be creating drag, Mr. Max said. Yes, I don't even know why they be having their wigs and stuff on or whatever. But hey, I think some people wear froze out every once in a while, particularly the men. Like when a man has a fro, he be wearing the stuff out. I see that in some of the distance races. I'm like, man, all that drag, dude, braid your hair down or something, because I know that is creating a drag on your head and it's not helping you. But yeah, I mean, what can you do? All of it comes into play. But I guess because they got their hair patted down underneath and it's tightened up, it probably equals out to the same thing. But the weight, the minuscule weight, everything adds on. Michael Johnson put gold in his shoes, remember? And that was a little bit of extra weight there, but he was so fast that maybe it was. But I don't know. I think it equals out. But sometimes I think about that myself. Sometimes I think about, hey, if their wig falls off like Okabare, then yeah, I think they all want braids. Yeah, I would say so. But back on topic here. Here's how we take it out of joke status. One, we got to stay in a 2-hour time frame. The Wanda Diamond League final showed us that we can do this. We don't need these all-day meets. I've been at meets. At matter of fact, the USATF Nationals. USATF Nationals, not for the adults, but I saw this here. It was like a 4 or 5 day thing. It was in North Carolina. Was it Charleston, North Carolina? It's either South Carolina or North Carolina. They both have a Charleston, which is weird. But I think it was in North Carolina. It was 2016. You could go back and look up the meet USATF, and you had plenty of people that ran there. Do you know these meets were starting from? And look, to me, I love announcing the track, so it is what it is. But the meet was going from basically 8 a.m. in the morning, or yeah, you got to get there at 8 because you got to warm up, you got to do your stuff or whatever. And the field event started at either 9. The running event started an hour later, and then we're going to about 3 to 4 o'clock. How you gonna fit that on TV? You can't. Now, what we found out is NCAA is doing a great job because they're getting more views than the regular other track meets on a regular basis. They have made it a formula. They got women on one day, men on the other day, right? And now we can see the numbers on who's watching what. Now, many people don't like the breakdown, but now we can see who's watching what, and then they can do that as data in the future to say, okay, this event here is being watched, this one isn't. Then we can start cutting stuff. Maybe that's what's going to start happening. But as it is now, we saw here in 2 hours we can have a track meet. Obviously, the field events will probably start before they started it. Let me look here. The field event started, I think, 2 hours before. Some of them started 1. The other one started 2 hours before. You split it up into 2 days, make it easy for people to understand what the point system is for. That's what we're doing here. The ranking system, once you have all of those, is no longer a joke. We combine boxing or tennis with track and field, boom, and there you go. I basically essentially covered our whole topic here. But then you have, just like in boxing, you got the lower ranks, right? And I think in tennis, I'm more familiar with the boxing analogy here. But you got the bronze rank meets where you got to qualify for those. You can't just automatically. I think there should be. I don't care. This is what I think should happen with track 2. I don't care if you run a 10-7. You got to have a certain ranking in order to make it to the next level. That's the way I need to get in there. I don't care if you run a 9-7 or a 9-8 or a 19-8. If you can do that, what the heck are happening with my fish? They're attacking one of them. I'm like, what the heck? She must be giving birth now. They trying to eat her babies. If they actually maintain this, I think it would be better. Do you guys agree with that? Let me know what you think about that. If we had a point system that said, okay, somebody can't just be compared to Shelly Ann Fraser-Price now just because they ran a fast time. They can't be compared to let's say Usain Bolt. Let's go back to Usain Bolt years. Just because they ran a fast time. Michael Johnson. That's who I wanted to say, but he's been so far along ago that it may be irrelevant to bring him in. But you can't be compared to some of the great athletes and be in the same race as them just because you ran 1 or 2 races. You got to come out here. Let's take what Mr. Mack said earlier. He wanted them to finish in the top 3. Maybe you have to get a certain amount of points here on this point system. And then now you can earn yourself a right to say, all right, just because she's got this fast time and she might have beat Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price earlier, or he might have beat Usain Bolt. Because, you know, sometimes at the Diamond League, Powell or Gay or Gatlin would beat Usain Bolt, right? Those would be pretty much the only ones that would beat him. It was rare that somebody else outside of that list did it. But if you got point system and said, now you got this many, now you've earned the right. And now you can say that you are next to them in that because now you got points plus your time. Because I think it's kind of asinine or absurd that if you run a fast time, now you're just everything. Because that doesn't prove consistency. These points do. These points prove consistency. And that's why people get into the Diamond League final. That's why people make it to the Diamond League final. You got to have somebody that gets beat. Like if you only get in the top 3, what happens if, like I said earlier, the people just show up on each one? They say, all right, we're going to come out. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, Elaine Thompson-Herah. They come out on every single one. That's your top 2 spots secured. And then you got to depend on them having a bad race and you having a really good one to get in the top 3. Especially, let's say Jackson comes out or Talu. Because she usually, unless she's injured, she's going to be up there. Dina Asher-Smith. You essentially have locked out everybody else. Those are all the names right there. Name me another person that can consistently break that right there. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, Elaine Thompson-Herah, other than when she comes to, let's say, the finals because she might be injured. But throughout the year, who's breaking into Elaine Thompson-Herah, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, Talu, or Dina Asher-Smith? Sharika Jackson is a new addition this year. But who's breaking that phalanx right there? It's rare that you can see somebody else break into one of those. What if they showed up at every single meet? They said, why men so pressed by females' hair or wig? Why are women so pressed about how much money a man makes? Get out of here with that. Come on now. Every time it's a standard set on women want to fight back and then try to come at a man. Oh, lose some weight. You can control that. A man has to be a certain height for some women or whatever like that. And technically, not really. Not really. That's just a misnomer because that's guys that don't got influence. I'm not even really particularly that quote unquote tall. I'm average height. I'm 5'8". And I could get women that's taller than me and I could get women that's shorter than me. These are usually guys that are complaining that ain't got any influence themselves. But to be fair, women be putting standards on guys all the time. And most of the time it's just empty complaints. If the guys just literally was like, I ain't gonna take it, then the women would change. It's because the women are with the gutter bottom, and then those gutter bottom guys, no offense to them, because some of them might be listening or whatever. Like literally, no offense to anybody here. And they say, hey, you could do whatever, you could be whatever weight, whatever. Because I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. This is how life is. Not all of us are going to be at the top. I'm average in certain areas. I'm the gutter bottom at certain other areas. Then I excel at certain areas. I can do calculus in my head. It is what it is. So that's why I said no offense, because we all are going to be average or bad in certain areas and good at other ones. But as far as that, wear your natural hair. If you don't, you're not in my life. It is what it is. I'm not pressed at all. You can live your life. But back on topic here. They said blame that standard on the beauty set by the European master. Nah, I think some people were still running, wearing some of their fake hair and stuff and on the continent and everything. I think it's so easy to keep saying that, but yes, a lot of it, most of it is probably that standard that's got set. But oh well, let me get back on topic here. They said at this point, ETH, shout out to Ethereum, and SAFP are in their own category running 10.65s. Yeah, at this point, they could come out and jog. Now, early season, they probably aren't. They're going to probably, now their baseline for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, if she can maintain this, she's going to be a 10.7 runner as her baseline. Not a 10.8 mid or high, when she opens the season. She might open the season in 10-7s. Remember, Lane Thompson Hero, other than her first meet with that 11 flat, I think, and I think that was due to the wind, she's been running essentially 10-7s. She's running 10-7s except for at the Jamaica trials. So she opened her season with, I think, something like that. But then she actually has to, that's going to be her baseline standard, 10-7s. That's going to be crazy to see them opening the season like this. So don't forget that. So now the next step that we got to do is that we actually have to look at what we're going to do here. What are we going to do? Okay, you got to progress through the bronze into the silver, which they have their own qualifying, and then you can get into a gold meet. If you do it like that, and then people know what they're looking at, then they can actually maintain their own level of understanding of the sport. Hold on just a second. We got room service at the door. All right. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that, guys. They're like, hey, it's they're coming at different hours. They said, bro, they said ETH should link up with Elaine Thompson Hero and do something. That's what I think. I think they should do something with the abbreviation that she got and then promote Ethereum. But here we go. I think that we can be taken more seriously. Do you know how much money they get paid here? Actually, let me ask you guys this. Do you know how much money they get paid at these? You probably don't. The reason why we're also a joke is that, okay, unlike tennis, let me do this here. Here's the red card. Let me put the red card for that. Actually, hold on. I like this one better. Let's do the kiss the diamond thing, right? So unlike tennis, and the average person, the average wage for a tennis person, they only making about what, 22,000 or something like that. So how much do the tennis players make at their tournaments? Let's see. Now, wow, somebody made $20.06. What the heck? What the heck is that? That's crazy. So essentially, the tennis players make from the data I just pulled up. I just pulled this one up. I'm gonna pull up a different one, but look, let's look at this. So they make about $2,000 per match. $2,000 per match. Here it is. The average salary was for a tennis player was $113,000 a year. Or now this is average. There are some people that rank much higher and some that are lower. They said this rank made only $1,100 a year. So somebody ranked at basically 2,000 almost. They're making that, and there are a lot of people. There are more than just ranked 2,000 people. Now the average is skewed. When you take out these people making multi-million-dollar contracts, you're looking at somebody making maybe $35,000 or something like that. I remember I had that somewhere, but it's going to take me too much time to search for that. But look, so if you take their average, they're making $2,000 per match. So that means they're doing a lot of matches to come up with $100,000 a year, essentially. They said 3 million pounds for Grand Slam. And yeah, that here it is. Here's the other question. So they said approximately the champions will make 1.8 million US dollars each, because the pound is also more. And they said, while some of them make 2.71, so that's about 3 million pounds. So yeah, the doubles matches, it says it right here. 3 point, Well, 300,000 something. So yeah, here it is. The top tennis player, the winner of here, the prize money was 3.8 million US dollars. Almost 3.9. So let's just say 4 million US dollars. Right? How do we get us to do that? Like I even said, do you think Shelly Ann Fraser-Price wouldn't have showed up? Just be honest. Be honest here. No matter what her reputation is, do you think that if this year, unlike in the years past, they just upped it, they upped this to like $200,000 for this race or $150,000, and then last place getting 30? Let's just say last place was 40,000 because that was the last Doha. The year of the Doha in 2019. Do you think Shelly Ann Fraser-Price wouldn't have showed up for that? Man, she got to be out of her mind. Because if first place is getting that, and then last place is getting 40,000, then what is second place getting? What is, and at very worst, she might get second, right? What is second place? What is third place getting, right? And then if the final is here, because look, all we're looking at this, it looks like the winner is 3 times the amount. Second place is 2. This is 2. So everything else is essentially double what you're coming in. So that means if we use that same logic here, if this winning total is $150,000, that means this will be 50, right? This would be 50. That means this would be by the same percentage, this will be about 37. So double 37, you'll get about 72. So you get $72,000 for second. This will be 37 here. $72,000 for second. I think that ain't that bad. And then everything else is like half of this. Then it goes to this one. I could do the math or whatever, but I'm not. So you get $50,000 for each Diamond League. You got 13 of them. I guess she might not have showed up. That means you place in those top spots for 10 of them, right? You come out there, man, this will be crazy. People will be coming out, look, I'm making a living. I got last place at the Diamond League final on each one of them. You going to have somebody come last place at each one of these, and they going to be making a living now, like a real living. Think of it like that. That's how we should have it here. That's how we get out of joke status, because then it will come out of, oh, this is a poor man's sport. Now an NFL player won't be, well, they still going to be making more, just like a soccer player, but they won't be looking, because once you make a certain amount of money, then it's just like you can kind of do what you want, right? You can take pay cuts here. You can do those things. Maybe it's bored. Maybe you're bored, because there's an NFL player that actually did place at the Olympics. It's one of them. Dang, I forget his name offhand. He's the only one that won a Super Bowl title and an Olympic, I think an Olympic gold. So when it comes down to it, you think Shelly Ann Fraser-Price would have dodged that one? I don't think so. Do you think other people, and just imagine if that's the baseline, this is the baseline, not including appearance fees. Maybe they don't even get appearance fees anymore once it gets to a certain amount of money, right? Maybe it doesn't have that. But let's say that Richardson, for instance, and look, somebody now they're going to be like, oh, he bringing up Richardson. No, let's say the hype around Richardson was brought up again. Brian Gibson, yo, what's up? Let's say the hype was brought around again. Prefontaine, okay. What you think they would have paid them? They would have paid them even more money, because if the baseline is $50,000 for the win, think about the hype that they had at Prefontaine, and that they said they purposely was trying to get as many of their Olympians as possible. They essentially bought the Olympics, brought it over for the women's 100, tried to hype that thing up to all get out. They would have been, they probably would have had people coming out there making $200,000 plus, $300,000 plus. That would have been, they would have been dishing out millions of dollars, millions and millions, 2, 3, 4, probably like 3 or 4 million just for that race. Now they probably did significantly less. They might have dished out probably 1.5 million in total. Maybe. I don't even think so. But because the baseline is $10,000 here, what they say, okay, Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, we really need you. We really need you to come out. Lane Thompson here, we really need you. What, they gave him maybe $30,000 for an appearance fee? Maybe that was it. 50,000, maybe 50 or 60. Right? So then now they're coming out, they get the appearance fee there. And then she came there, she set the meet record, which means she probably got a bonus. I don't know how that works. She set the meet record, run world leading time, obviously, set national record. I wonder, do you get a bonus from your country when you set a national record in Jamaica? So it's probably not that much, but still, it's something. So you come away, you set a meet record, you did that, you got the world looking at you, relatively speaking. And then what? Now let's go here. Let's go back. So the A ranked, this is how we get out of this too. The A ranked tournament, this is how much money they need to be giving out. Our competitions. This is how much the premier, actually, let me ask you guys here. Please put in the comment section, how much money do you think the winner should get? Tell me, how much money do you think a winner of a regular Diamond League, no matter what event, because this is what they're equalizing them for events. I think there should be not equalized money, but hey, they said, Steve Patrick said, today cricketers are making millions. Track and field is really lagging behind. Yeah, I do agree. They said, SEL, they said, what you have said about Bolt is totally true. Without his performance to complement his personality, he would not have been as huge as he became. Yeah, I think that's a given, though. You got to have people that are there. They said, just had to do it live while I'm at school, D'Angelo said. Hey, look, it is what it is, man. I said it last week that it was going to be at 9 a.m. So we're trying to experiment with the time. I think I'm just going to have to do it like this. So, but yeah, how much do you guys think the winner should make? How much do you guys think the winner should make? Leave that in the comment section. And then how much do you think 8th place should make? Because remember, everybody else is going to fall in between. What y'all think the winner should make? And it's 13 races. It's 13 competitions, including the final. That means the final is going to be there. So 12 competitions leading up to the final. This is going to be the base. The final is going to be 3 times amount. And then every other place is going to be 2x, 2 times the amount of that. So first place should get what? Last place should get what? And then all we got to do is multiply what those numbers are. They said, Brian Gibson said, if you can make the 4 Grand Slams, which pay you about $50,000 for a first round loss, you are okay. So that's basically keeping in the top 100. See, now y'all see why I keep saying that. Y'all see why I keep saying that I call athletes, if you are top 10 in your nation or top 50. Now, see, at the Grand Slam, you over there making $50,000 being maintained in the top 100. That's why I say you got to be in a ranking system other than just your times. You got to have points. That's what I would rather do, because other ones you can't, the stats aren't as straightforward. So let's just say here, that's why I say top 50. Let me stay on point. I almost lost the point there. If you are in top 50, I call you as head and shoulders above the rest. But look, he said even at the Grand Slam in tennis, they're calling the top 100 and you make $50,000. Wow. Right? But if you in the top 50, which at this point, they're going to have a coin flip tiebreaker for these 45s, the ones that are matched with 45. That's why I said the point system comes into play. So I'm saying just top 50. Tennis goes to top 100. So you can make a living. Now, this is not including that $50,000. Is that really making a living for those people right there? Because $50,000, you got to get taxes taken out and everything. But who knows? If you maintain in the top 100, you probably at least winning or placing at other tournaments and stuff that lead up in other matches. So you're probably making a decent amount of money leading up to it. So 50,000 is just that one competition versus all of the ones that led up to it. Because you got to pay for your tennis rackets. You got to pay for your massage therapist if they have them and everything like that. Malachi's Adventure said, keep up the good work. Thank you, Malachi's Adventure. Thank you. I appreciate it. Also, with what else did I want to say here? South Corey said, Fraser Price is a prime example of an athlete that's grossly underpaid. Yeah, my buddy was even saying something like that when she should be arguing for more. When I said her net worth was almost near Allison Felix, he was like, there's even more reason why I would say I need to be paid more. And then Institute Roy said, what about 9th place? Well, yeah. Well, is 8 lanes here, I'm only talking about the lanes. But yeah, we can talk about with the distance races and the 9th lane runners. It says it right here, plus rewards if there are 9th lane runners. There are 12 up to 12 places. So if you finish after 12 for the distance race as well, you SOL. Yeah, and I guess they really should include the field eventers, but I guess that's how their policy is now. So if we go by just the Diamond League, it would be 12th. But if we go by the typical 8 lane for the sprint events and then 12 for the distance athletes, what do you guys think? I'm surprised nobody has an idea. See, this is also the issue. We ain't got an idea about how much people should get paid. We don't got an idea. We thinking, okay, $30,000. Well, they should get paid more. See, this is what comes into play. We, the audience here, looking at it. Remember, the athletes, because some of the athletes do follow me on this page. If we are the audience are looking at this, and some of the future athletes are the audience, if they don't know what they can come in, that's why they come in with these bad negotiations and deals. They're getting underpaid, like Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. And then Asante said, Steve Patrick, you brought up something interesting. Can we get a poll or a chart with the popularity of a sport and the earnings of athletes within? Oh, yeah. So I actually have that data. Good thing you said that. Let me bring this up here. Let me bring up the Kiss the Diamond. So the other day, what was it? I had something about the social media, right? I had that brought up in a video. And it was about the top athletes or something like that. Now, remember, Cristiano Ronaldo, he's the highest paid year after year. I'm not really trying to focus on Richardson unless it's necessary. I'm trying to stay focused on this. I don't really want to get off topic. I brought her up earlier for the specific reasons that they needed to, just like I bring up everybody else. But I just literally brought up the reason why on the 9th place finishers. Yeah, so with here. So when it comes here, Cristiano Ronaldo has the highest social media following, and he's the highest paid athlete overall year over year, right? Now, I brought up the other day, I can't remember where it is. Oh, now I remember. I'm going to bring this up where it showed the top followers on Instagram. And then it showed, where is it? Right here. So I'm going to bring up 2 other ones. Right here. So here are the top followers here. Now, this is back in 2017, right? Now it's updated here. Now, when we go in this order, we're going to see that there is a correlation with how much money these athletes get paid and how many followers they got on social media and their viewers. Cristiano Ronaldo is by far the highest paid athlete year after year after year, right? It's not even close. It's not even close. He's the highest paid athlete right now that's currently competing. Lionel Messi. Now, you'll see that on this list, the number 1 follower with the most Instagram as of July 2021 is Ronaldo. The Rock is number 2. Most of these people are actors, actresses, or some kind of musician or something like that, right? And we got several soccer players. We got Ronaldo. We got Messi. We got, let me bring out this list. Neymar Jr., right? I don't know who the heck this is, Virat.Kohli, but you can see that there's a direct correlation with the most popular sport in the world with the pay that you got, right? So this is where we have to remember that this is why Richardson has the ability to get paid more than everybody around her. She is destroying them. She's 2x Allison Felix's followers, more than 2 times her followers, right? The social media, when it comes to an athlete, increases their brand power and influence. Yes, just because you have more followers than somebody else doesn't mean they will actually buy. That is true, because there's been some people that have had, I think it was a woman that had 10 million Instagram followers. She couldn't get somebody to buy a $10 t-shirt from her. She even complained about it. She said 0 people bought, and then after she complained, 5 people bought a shirt. But she had 10 million. But she always showed her ass on every single thing. So of course, when you get your followers, for how the reason why they got their followers is very important. So will that translate to Richardson making money? We don't know. And that's the reason why I'm bringing her up now, because it is very relevant to here. But yeah, when you said, can we do a poll? I think I'm going to cover that on a future video. They said that's why Bolt tried to play soccer. Steve Patrick said. South Croy said, I like to know what's the going value of Diamond that the Diamond League athletes get. You know, for the appearance fees, that would be great. Now, see, that's the problem. That's also a problem. When we don't know the more information we know about what they're getting, right? If we know that Shelly Ann Fraser-Price got a bonus of $30,000 for showing up at Prefontaine because they really wanted her, and Elaine Thompson-Herah as being the de facto right now, she's gonna get $50,000 or $60,000. Then we can start saying, well, you paid this person this. Now we can do that, right? They said the going value of the diamond. Oh, okay, right, okay, I got you. And then he said fake diamond. I thought you meant showing up at the Diamond League as far as appearance fees. But that's the only way we're going to come out of joke status. That is the only way. So, yeah, today, this has been probably a shorter one because we're just about over an hour. And I pretty much covered what I wanted to cover. At this point, this is the final thing, and then I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you all that have, like I said, Institute of Roy, Camellia, for the Cash App. I really do appreciate that. That helps grow the channel. Like I said, I'm going to be using that for the animated races as of yet. We're starting to get closer and closer to hiring that team for the animated races. And thank you all that have contributed through PayPal. I don't have that notification, the other phone for that one in front of me. And then if anybody contributed via cryptocurrencies and everything like that, I do appreciate you guys. It really does help the channel and everything. So here it is. World Athletics Continental Tour. How much should these athletes get paid here? In my opinion, at the bare minimum, the bronze level rank, okay, the bronze level rank, they probably should be approaching, the winner gets 6,000, maybe 10,000, right? Because silver right now gets 2,000 in euros. So that's probably like, what, 2,500 US dollars? Let's just say that, 2,500 for the silver rank. So that means bronze is way less than that. If we can start getting the bronze level competitions where you win, let's just say because it's bronze, okay, to be fair, that's a low level competition. The winners, 8th place may get, and for, let's say that they go through the same thing with the Diamond League, there's a prize. Maybe 12th place gets $50 for their time. $50 for your time. Hello, sir, because it's bronze, right? We don't expect them to be getting that much. Okay, 8th place, since those are going to be doing the top 8 instead of top 9. 8th place probably still get $500. No, probably $200. And the winner gets $2,000, right? $2,000, and then everybody in between. So 8th place gets 10 times less, and then there you go. And then $50 for 12th place. And then however the math goes in between for everybody else. Silver should be probably 3 times more than that at the very least. So we get $6,000 for silver. I would say even more silver, because that still can get you some good competition. And then gold for the Continental Tour, since that's what it is. Now, it's not the same thing as the Diamond League, right? So the Continental Tour, the golds, it should be probably where the Diamond League is right now. So silver could be very close. It's like, well, I'm not there. Or 5,000, maybe 4 or 5,000. We'll put it there. And then silver, the winner should get 10, 12, maybe 15,000, let's say. And then we just up it there. And then in 12th place, now they're getting into $1,000 for 12th place or something like that. And then say, well, I can still do okay. Now when we get to the Diamond League, right? Now when we get to the Diamond League, the big boys, the big league, like the Grand Slam. Because the Diamond League really limits you. There's a whole bunch of Continental Tour races. You can go here, here, here. But the Diamond League only has 13. Whereas if you come out, it says 14 meetings. Oh, they actually reduced one. Very interesting. So they reduced the meets here because this is still the old here. This is still the old numbers, $40,000. So this is based in 2019 in Doha. And they had 24 events. They upped the events to 32 and they decreased the meet by 1. It probably is the same amount of prize money given out. So this is why they probably lowered the prize money, not because of they did it for any reason, but they upped the events from 24 to 32. So yeah, they said, Asante said there's definitely money in track for the athletes, but the money is going to the faceless connected to the sport. Yes, and that's the problem. That's the problem here. Asante, I agree with you. When I went to these track meets, I'll tell you like this. They are trying to tell me I could come and volunteer for a track meet. Oh, heck no. I saw the money that went to these World Youth events and everything like that. Oh, no, I'm not coming there to be a volunteer. I will be a paid volunteer because you can pay me to volunteer my time. But I'm not going to be a free volunteer. No. Right? He said, why don't you get some updated numbers? It's kind of hard to find that on the fly right now. The updated numbers are right here. This is the 2017. You must be just seeing some of the there. Now, the updated numbers for the Diamond League, if that's what you're talking about, are these. These are the actual numbers right here. It's 32 events. That's what I'm saying. For whatever reason, World Athletics has not updated their bio section right here. But the Diamond League itself, these are their actual numbers. So it's 32. This is very good. I'm glad they left it up because now we can see why it was $40,000 before and why it's 30 now. So they said, okay, we cut this. They're still giving out $4,800 for each meet. Or I mean, 480,000 US dollars in prize money for each meet. But they had to cut each event by $10,000. They're still giving out $8 million in total prize money, but they had to cut it by $10,000 because what did they do? Well, they took from 24 events and then they did this. They upped it to 32 events. Now, track and field has 43, and if you count the marathon, it's 44 events. So 43 of the main and then marathon, that technically, I don't know if you count that as track and field or the roads. That might be just the roads. But if you do, it's 44 events in track and field total. I would have 13. That's me personally. I will have 13 and cap it off there. Maybe I do 24 like how they did. And 32 seems to be fair because you could do it in 2 hours over 2 days. I think this is what we need to do. They said Bolt used to make $250,000 a meet. They said Pimp the 478 said Sha'Carri is like the Anna Kournikova and Maria Sharapova of athletics. Oh, yeah. Very average performer, but very liked. Yeah. So when you can use your looks or you can use your entertainment value for you, you can get more money. I don't see why people think that just because somebody wins or their skill set is better, that just equals that they would get more money. It doesn't even apply in other areas of life, right? Unless you're in sales. The best teacher, what are they getting? Oh, they're going to get paid the same as every other teacher, right? Now, if they make a business of their own and be an internet personality, now they can get more money. You see that? Now, an average teacher, an average instructor can go online. They can make YouTube videos. Maybe they make ad revenue. Maybe they sell courses. Now their average teacher still working their regular teaching salary, get their 3 months off over the summer. While they got their 3 month vacation, they're over there planning what they're going to do to teach people in their free time on the internet. Now an average person, because they thought ahead, they thought of their marketing, they can get a sponsor. How do you know that Hershey or Under Armour or somebody else or 5 Hour Energy won't sponsor a teacher? Maybe these people don't even think about that themselves. This is why I tell people, man, look, I used to be a marketing director for a startup company, and I used to do a lot of marketing for other things. I got people to come out to boring, I swear, boring events with almost no money where people, my competitors, were paying money and money. They paid $260,000. I paid whatever it took for my time and energy. So let's just say I was paying myself $15 an hour, right? And then plus the paper and the internet and electricity. I probably used less than $5,000. They paid almost $250,000, and I paid $5,000 if it was used money right there, right? But I use free resources, quote unquote, from a university, and I hosted at the university. I got freaking 10 times the amount of people to come out to my event. And it was about engineers, science, and math. And I even had a plan at the university to combine the marketing section with the computer science and engineering, because people hate the technological stuff. So this ain't my first rodeo on trying to make boring things into entertainment stuff. And this was way back in 2008, 2009. I was over here already thinking. I've been thinking about these plans and everything, and it worked. And I know it works because I went from one at a university, then I went to a different business, blew them up until their the husband-wife combo. The wife was started saying, "You need to ask approval." We can do the same thing in track and field. Track and field to me is boring as hell, but I know how to make it entertaining. And guess what? That Diamond League, that was the most entertaining meet to me personally this entire year. I was like, wow, they switched to the field events and did the highlights very quickly. It was like snappy, just like that. They had they had everything going. They had the flames going up when they needed to on the track. I think that they should have flames right after all of them finish. They had the flames just flaming for a couple of seconds or something, like they burned up the track. Especially if it's a record, they should just have the track have flames throughout there, and it's just like record, and then like some fireworks or something going out. Like it should be a party while you're there, so it makes people want to come out. If it makes people want to come out, they talk about it. Then people will see the replay on the internet or wherever it's posted. You see this? This is how, and that small investment, yeah, it will cost a lot of money to have the gas and the flames and everything up. And then, of course, that pollutes the air a little bit for performances. You probably got to have a fan or something to take it out. But that makes track more entertaining, gets people talking about it. And then they're like, wow, when I come to a track meet, this thing is crazy, guys. Look at this thing. And then that gets your ticket sales. That gets people talking about it. That gets people talking about it. People outside the track watch it. When people outside the track watch it, more views, more money. Boom. That's how you do it. And so if we can start doing stuff like this, then we can stop being a laughing stock and a freaking joke for being so broke, so underpaid that only the top athletes get it. Everybody else, like a British athlete, got to work 3 jobs just to make the Olympic team. What kind of sorry stuff is that? Like, no offense to that person, right? No offense to him at all. But that's sorry on the sport, not him. That's sorry on the sport, especially Britain. They don't even pay their freaking athletes for winning anything as a bonus. They just too snobby or whatever. And Cole is over there. What the heck is he doing? He increasing the sport, but he hasn't lobbied that they should change. That's so funny. They don't pay a bonus for their athletes placing at the Olympics or anything. They're just like, yo, we're too good for this. They're saying they're too good to that. Let me see. Hassan, they said the top athlete, Mahid said the top athletes make good money. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My whole thing is I need more than just the top athletes. Why is it okay if you're a top athlete, if you get out of the top, matter of fact, you fall out of the top 10 one year, you could be homeless. Matter of fact, you fall out of the top 10 1 year, depending on what country you're in. Even in the U.S., right? If you fall out of the overall top 10, not top 10 in the U.S., you could be homeless. You could not have enough money to take care of yourself. You got to be consistently in the top 10. That's how little money is being paid out to the athletes. That is a joke. That's why we a joke. That's why when somebody come up to us and they say, oh, what, you run track? And then they be like, oh, wow, that's crazy. It's like a pat on the head when they talk to people that are in track. Y'all ever feel that? You ever feel like, oh, it's amazing with that, and then they talk about basketball, baseball, or something like that, and people getting all super energized and junk, and then we over here like that. They said Hassan Abur Rahman 155. That's pretty arrogant. That's a pretty arrogant mentality to think the world revolves around the United States. What? So you telling me, I don't know what you made the comment of around. They said track and field is not boring to the rest of the world. It may be boring to many people that live in the United States. You can't judge the world by the United States. Number one, let me set the record straight here. One, I'm not saying it's boring to the United States. I'm talking about me personally. Number two, Yes, it is. I've been all around different places, and it is boring to a lot of people. You know why? Oh, did you know that the prize money that they're giving out this year and that in the past decade has been some of the biggest prize money they have ever been given out, as well as appearance fees? The amount of viewers that watch it dictate if they find it very interesting to watch or not. If they don't come out and they don't give them lots of money, that is dictated by the amount of viewers. That is worldwide. That's not USA. That is worldwide. I'm looking at from a business perspective. If people ain't watching track and field, they find it boring. That's just flat out there. They can watch it at the Olympics, and people, even when they trash talk, they don't even know that they're feeding into this. They say, oh, the world championships isn't as important because the world isn't watching that like they watch the Olympics. Yeah, they'll watch it at the Olympics because it's a novelty. Are you going to find them watching a regular track meet when the announcer is saying, this is what they're doing? Now, I'd be stuttering up here, but if I was doing an announcing job, which is why every week I'm trying to get better at doing these, and I start practicing the names ahead of time sometimes too. If they go like here's how the race, here is how the track and field announcing is on a lot of times, right? Now, this is not just the USA. This is the British announcers. I caught them slacking plenty of times. You know how many meets I've played to just do my research on these? Here it is. Let's look at cross country. Are you interested in watching a cross country meet? Let me ask you, if you ever get a chance to go to Jamaica, you should try going to a track meet at a high school track meet, and you will see the people love track and field there in Jamaica. See, you are personally involved. You seem to have gotten offended here. Like, you're in your feelings right now. Let me pull you back. Get out of it for a second. Get out of it for a second and do this. Are you interested in watching a 5,000 meter run? Are you interested in watching a marathon? Are you interested in watching cross country? Let me pull it to something that you probably are not interested in. You might like the sprints, but do you find all of those events? Do you go out of your way to watch them? If you don't, you probably find them boring. That's fine. There are a lot of people that find track and field boring. They find it's too tedious. There are other things. There are other reasons outside of why they're not watching it. But there are a lot of people that find track and field boring as hell to watch. They don't want to watch it. They're getting tired of how long the meets are. That takes your attention. You get fatigued, right? Just like people that say, I should do 5-minute videos, right? Well, if they come out here and they don't find it very interesting, then what is there to come out? What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? What is the incentive for the rest of the world to come out? They said Americans trash talk about soccer being boring, but they make far more money. Yeah, exactly. This is why I'm not talking about just the U.S. The U.S. personally doesn't find soccer as interesting. Now, it's the 4th most popular sport. Now, you see, even the top 3 mentality applies to the USA. See, soccer is the 4th, sometimes 5th most popular sport in the USA. It goes NFL, NBA, or vice versa. Usually it's the NFL. Then it's NBA. Then it's either MLB, as in baseball, or sometimes it goes to the NHL. But soccer and the NHL, they usually go back and forth between what's more popular and what's not. They said, yes, I'm interested in watching any kind of event in track and field. I watch all of the track and field events, the run and the jump and the steeplechase and pole vaulting. Well, you one of a few subscribers to my channel that actually do watch all of them. But some people literally said they have no interest in anything over the 800. And some of them said they don't even care about the 800 and up. They just care about the sprints. So you'll be one of the few people. The vast majority of my channel, they came here because of Shelly Ann Fraser-Price and some other things, and for the sprint events. But a lot of people don't find it very interesting. If maybe some of the people want to admit it in the comment section right now, but I'm telling you, number one, I was not talking about the U.S., so that's you with the bias. Just like if somebody looks at me as a black person and I open my mouth, they assume everything that comes out of my mouth has to do with black people. Instead of asking a question, they make an assumption, right? Just like you did. Oh, he's an American talking. He must be talking about Americanism because I got a stereotype. I got an assumption in my head. American talk about American. The world revolves around America. When's the last time, if you've been a regular subscriber, that I talk about the USA as the USA? Like, literally, you got to be honest here. If you are a regular subscriber, when's the last time I just circle the bandwagon around the USA? I don't. Oh, yeah, and if I sound angry, I'm really not. It's just, hey, look, I'm on the internet and I'm projecting my voice. So let me read these comments and then let me go on with the point that I was going to do. They said, do you know the viewership of countries around the world track and field? That will be the only way you can make a statement that something is boring in the world. Okay, Hassan, since you have that call in on Zoom, I think it would be better for us to have a conversation here. So let me give you the Zoom meeting right here. I'm about to bring that up. It's too distracting right now, and probably to the viewership here. It would be better to get your thoughts out because number one, we're being a little bit delayed in that, and that's why Athletics and Chill is for. So let me do this really quick. I'm going to invite you to the meeting. Here is the Zoom meeting. Now, this isn't like, oh, call in or you will be banned. No, this isn't one of those. But we're having a good conversation right here. This is actually important. Call into that Zoom meeting. This would be good because now you're coming here, and anybody else that wants to call in, go ahead, call in. The lines are open. So let me see. They said, Mahid said, Sha'Carri's the biggest star in track and field, got like 2.4 million on Instagram. Most other sports' biggest stars have way more than that. Yeah, exactly. So that should be evidence because remember, social media is worldwide. That should be evidence right there. Matter of fact, that's in the story right there for Hassan. Like, he should be able to see that due to the social media breakthrough, Usain Bolt, he was supposedly a breakout star and he got 10 million. He's got 10 million. I brought that up the other day on when I was comparing everybody else. He's got the most followers for track and field and he's got 10 million. That's international. It's not just going to be USA or anybody that's following him. That's international. So, and then because like on one side, people say, well, if Shelly Ann Fraser Price was American, she would be a huge star. But then on the other hand, now we're saying, oh, the world don't revolve around the USA. So which one is it? Which one is it? It can't be both at the same time, could it? Are you telling me that she would be a huge star because USA athletes are admired internationally? Because that could be the case. That could be the argument. Because if you saying the world don't revolve around the U.S., but she would be a bigger star based in the U.S., well, that tells me the world kind of does. With your own logic, the world does revolve around the U.S. in some ways. Because if she goes to the USA and she's popular, there it is. Hassan, it doesn't look like that you are joining, but you have stopped commenting. So at this point, I'm just assuming you didn't want to continue your point, or maybe you just didn't. But I don't want you to comment anymore at this point. I want you to join the Zoom call because that way we can go back and forth and have a productive conversation versus any of that. He said, I will call in when I get a break at work. Well, we can't go on your work schedule. We don't know when that is because that could be in an hour from now and we ain't going to be on for another hour. I trust and believe that we're not going to be on for another hour. So, but yeah, I think I pretty much would have negated your conversation right here at the point where Mahid made a good point. If Sha'Carri is the current biggest star in track and field and got 2.1 million subscribers or followers, then what does that say about the sport? And she don't got just American followers at all. She's got international people because she was used as a headliner in Brussels. She was the headliner in Brussels when Lane Thompson-Hero pulled out. Why did they use her as a headliner? Because she must be popular enough for them to use her as a headliner. That's international, right? That's international. So a lot of people, they get in their feelings and they say the world doesn't revolve around the USA. For all of what people say, people surely do come over and copy what the USA does in their own countries. That's like somebody saying, Well, you don't when they like a girl or a guy, they like a man or a woman, and then they start talking about them, but they really are liking them, or they're jealous of somebody or something like that, right? Yes, the world don't revolve around the USA, but the USA has so much media influence and impact on everybody else that our degenerate behaviors are being copied by the rest of the world, as well as some of our good behaviors. They said Shelly Ann Fraser Price is huge in Jamaica. You're missing the point on purpose. You're missing the point on purpose. I don't even want to go into it. That's why you need to call in. So I'm going to move on. That topic is done. They said long distance is loved in Europe and Africa. Sprinting events are loved in the Americas. Yeah, that's just how it is. There are different areas of the world that love that, and it's typically because they're good in them. I bet you if Jamaica started to get good in the distance events, there's going to be an appreciation for it. It's the same thing. You know what? The same thing y'all say, oh, Usain Bolt has to run fast, and then that's how he got his exposure on top of his entertainment. Well, a lot of people in Jamaica, matter of fact, the announcers, when I listened to the Jamaican champs this year, they were laughing while the 1,500 runners were going. One of them's in NCAA collegiate this year. They were laughing and joking around that the 1,500 runners were going there. But I bet you if Jamaica started to get somebody that was close to the world record and they became Olympic champion year after year after year, it can't be just one. If it's just one, they're going to give them like oh yeah, we're going to support you. You're Jamaican. We're going to support you. They're not going to have the love of it, but they're going to be entertained because that one guy is out, right? But if you get more than one, you get 2 or 3, and then they start coming out and they start doing something, then you're going to have people, because they love those athletes, that love is going to translate over to the event itself, because now they're entertained. Because when Kenya starts to get good at field events, sprint events, the same way that Jamaica laughs at the 1,500, the announcers for the men's 100, when I listened to that, they were laughing and they were dropping the ball that they had an athlete almost break 10 in that race and they matched the national record. They completely forgot about it. They're laughing. They're talking about other things. Their attention span's too short. They couldn't let their bias of just being a neutral announcer come through. They were joking around during the 100 because they felt that the men didn't have a chance. Then now we got a guy going 87 or something over there in Kenya. So it's the same thing. People over the world over will find interest in track and field because they earn it. Now, the next thing is you got to be an entertainer and be fast. That's how we're going to start bringing in money. We got to command attention. We got to demand this. We can't just come there and say, run fast. Okay, run fast. It gets you a little bit. Like Gould, she's the most successful 800 runner out in Jamaica. And yet there is slight interest in Natoya Gould. Slight interest. If she starts pulling an Olympic championship, do you know how much more interest in the 800 that the nation will have? And y'all might start having even better 800 runners. But she's already opened the door a little bit. She's the most successful right now. But if she wins a gold, oh my goodness, the freaking door floodgates start to run open. Now let me read the comments. They said people all over the world. Carlene English said people all over the world love to see who is the fastest man or woman. There's something unique about that. Fastest male or fastest female. Mahid said, when you think Bolt's records will be broken? No clue. I don't even, I have no clue. I don't have a prediction on that. Given at the time and everything, it could be at any point. But let me wrap this up now. So the Continental Tour, I think the way that the Diamond Leagues are paid now, the Continental Tour should be there right now. The $10,000 for will be the Continental Tour. That's still going on. We got 2 or 3 more meets to go with the Continental Tour, by the way. The last meet is on September 18th. That's the Kipkeno Classic in Kenya. Shelly Ann Fraser Price said she has at least one more race. So she's likely, I don't know what the start list is because they haven't updated it, but she's likely going to be at this gold meet right here. That's on the 13th and the 14th. That's in Croatia. So we're going to see what happens. If she's not there, that means she could be at the silver one in Berlin. It seems kind of weird that she would go down, really, but who knows? Or she might be at the Kipkeno Classic. That means she'll have altitude at her advantage. That would be very interesting to have the altitude and that together. They said culture plays a huge role. Sprinting is big in Jamaica. Long distance runners move to sprinting like Sharika Jackson. She was a distance runner. Lahing D said. So yeah. So these are where they are. This is the Continental Tour is I guess the B rank of the competitions, but you still get some of the best athletes. They should be paid at the Diamond League's current paying. And then the Diamond League itself, I think this should be at least for the regular 13 or the regular 12, and then they got the 13th one at the championship, should be at least $50,000 for the win. That's why I think it should be. If we can start upping it to 100, but $50,000 for a win. We get to the prize money here. That starts to go out. I think the prize money is smaller too. It's going to be hard because at a USA Open or some of these Grand Slams, sure, you got a whole bunch of people out there, but look at how many athletes you got. I got to do the math on this one. I'm going to come back. But don't we have more athletes at one single track meet than some of these tournaments have for those tennis matches? So it might even be impossible to ever approach that, even with the money that they bring in, that, one of them is going to get there. And that's not even important, really. They said, Kim Bella said Jackson was never a distance runner. Jackson was a sprinter in high school. She switched to the 400 because of injuries. Get your facts straight. Who is Li Ying? Why did you say middle distance? If she ain't run no 800s or nothing, she's not a middle distance athlete. Like, I that's why I even asked him. I'm like, what is this guy saying? The 400 is not middle distance. What the heck are you smoking? Middle distance is literally 800 and up. See, this is what I say. This is why I even say before. I said to somebody that has a background of 100, you must be a 100-meter athlete or something like that. Because a 100 athlete will look at the 400 like it's a marathon. Like 100 specialists, they'll look at the 400 like it's a middle distance or a marathon. It's really not middle distance. They said Don Quarry won gold in the 200 meters in the Olympics for Jamaica. I think in Helsinki. That was the catalyst for fast running in Jamaica. South Croy said, oh, you know what? That could have been. That could have been. All it takes is somebody to win and win in a big way. And then, boom, the whole trajectory, the whole laughing stock changes. Just like it's going to take a certain person to win in the U.S. And then that fan base of 2.4 million, they will be activated. The sales will go up. She'll probably double. That I predicted already. All she needs is one win at a major championship. And if she does it in one of those events, which is highly unlikely, but unless Lane Thompson-Hera, which is injury prone, gets injured, or Sharika Jackson falls off in the 200, or Mboma, she's got a hard competition to get the 200. In the 100, like I said, same thing applies. Now, if she gets a medal, it's still going to do something similar, but a gold is going to light her up. She might double her Instagram followers just like that, because she's going to get a lot of international. It's going to be a lot of people that say, oh, I was just waiting for her to win. Now her trash talking is validated, right? Now, because it's a lot of people that already said it in my comment section. So that's what's going to take. And then more people outside of track and field is going to be interested in it. Then this prize money starts to go up. I'm telling you, prize money goes up because of what she's doing. There is a lot of good things that come from her. I can't deny that. A lot of good things that come from her, but people keep calling me a hater for some reason because she just talks and she ain't produced. So how do we stop being a joke? Let's summarize this now. How do we stop being a joke in track and field? Well, what we covered here was, and is track and field doomed? The answer to that is no. We're not doomed. And doomed to be second tier, right? Second ranked in a joke. That's what that is. That's what the question really is. I just had only a certain amount of space. Is track and field a joke by the rest of the world? In my opinion, yes. We are highly looked at as a joke. We're looked at as a quote unquote poor man sport. We're looked at as, oh, they only get this much money. Oh, I feel so sorry for them. Oh, in Britain, British athletes are out there working 3 jobs to try to make the Olympic team. Some athletes like Mboma don't even have a house and they're racing for that. They got other athletes that are coming through and they have to work multiple jobs. This ain't just in the USA. All right. This is all international that I'm talking about. So when it comes down to it, if you're trying to get respected by people, one of the things that has people respect you is literally money. People always try to argue, oh, somebody with money isn't better. And yet they treat it in their mind that is better. You know why? Because there is a certain level of being better with more money. It is what it is. You can pay a whole bunch of people to be replaced. You can feed people with money. You can do so many things with money that you can't do without money. So in some ways, you got to respect at a core level, as people do, that people can do things with money that people that don't have money or that don't have money can't do, essentially. So if I wanted to, I could probably go down to different countries in the islands or in South America. I could do it in the USA actually, but my money wouldn't go as far. But based on their local economies, I could probably pay people for several years, 10 people at least, for the next 5-6 years without them making me any money in return. I could do an experiment and say, okay, we're going to do this marketing campaign. They don't have to make any money from me. Pay 10 people, pay them very well too, right? And then that's what people with money can do. Some of you all might be able to do the same thing. You can go somewhere else to a different country, no matter where you're located on the planet. Maybe you're at that place, like somebody in Namibia. Because I do have a couple Namibian followers here, right? Subscribers. Well, you're on a low paid scale already, so you won't be able to do it. Somebody in Jamaica could do this. Somebody in the US could do this. Somebody in the South Americas could do this, or South America could do this, right? Somebody in Europe could do this. You could take your money, go somewhere else that has a lower standard of the exchange rate to your currency, and then you could make your money stretch further if you could figure out how to make the money in your own country, but over there. Then you could take care of somebody. This is what gives you a level of respect. Somebody don't have to like you. We have to remember there's a difference between somebody respecting and liking you. If they view you as a joke, they don't respect you. They might hate your guts. They might hate you, just like many people hated Carl Lewis, but they had no choice but to respect him. And so if track and field is a joke, part of the reason is because on a global scale, it's different depending on which country. And that's what I tried to tell the gentleman earlier. That he could just assume, hey, I'm looking at this. I can tell you from my personal experience is that when I talk about cross country, I love cross country, right? I love cross country. In Illinois, cross country is like a religion at the high school level. It's just like the Jamaican championships for track and field, as well as our state meet in track. If you go there, you got bands coming out and playing. They got people going through. It's like a freaking thing. You go to Mississippi, you go to Texas, you go somewhere else. Only 3 states. Now 3 states copy. California, I think New York, and Illinois. And then it's 2 states that copy. But you go to virtually every other state in the U.S. for cross country, it's like dead. It's dead. But in Illinois, you got bands coming out, playing during the races, coming out, and it's a huge thing. It's very high stakes. It's like it's a mini Olympics for many of these athletes. And they're coming out like, you can make all state the top 24, you did something. People coming out wearing tuxedos. Well, that was the school I was at. We wearing tuxedos, holding up the trophy and everything. It's like a huge type of thing. So that's respect, right? We can get that same thing by commanding an audience, commanding money. And do you guys agree with that? That's the last thing. That's what I'm going out with. D'Angelo said, what are we talking about there? D'Angelo, I know you jumping in and out. I can't just go back over what we talking about, man. You jumping in and out. I understand that, but we can't do that. So I'll leave it there. They said society. One of the problems with track is that the events that don't entertain people take up the time and budget of the more entertaining events. Yeah, I think that is. That's why I said I would lower track and field to 13 events. 13 events is what I would do. I guess I could go over it now for the few people that are here. Now, I'm going to save that. I'm going to save it to the future. That's going to be another athletics and chill. So I at least have a subject to do, because it's hard for me to bring up a subject on this one. It's more casual. It's not going to be on the same on topic. We're not going to be like, oh, this topic is about Shelly Ann Fraser Price. No, it's going to be more general stuff. So with that, they said no disrespect to the distance and field people, but the average person does not care about the 5,000. That's what society said. Not me. That's not me. That's what society said. Well, that's, I think, part of the reason why they did it. Did you notice that they did well, maybe you didn't see it. Maybe you didn't watch it, but they did the 5,000 on a special track. It was a 560-meter track. It was around buildings and everything like that, and you had people out there. It was people standing, and it was people in the stands. So it was more of a cross-country field. There's a lot of popularity in cross-country. So they are trying to capitalize on it, I think, and say, okay, there's a lot of popularity across country. If we make this more like cross country, maybe, just maybe, we can get people to be more interested in it. So that's why they put it on a 560-meter track. At least that's my thinking. That's one way to do it. Also, the roads of the 5K are very popular. The 5K and 10K on the roads are very popular. Just like the marathon is somewhat popular too. That's why Kipchoge can command some things and why he's a millionaire. I think he has his net worth is just under Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, but he's had a longer career than her. He's been up there since he was 16 at the world stage. So I guess if you put in mind like that, then yeah. They said out of entertainment, outside, I don't get that. Out of entertainment, we are going to kill track, Steve Patrick said. And then Ken M said, I think in Europe is different in UK, and there's difference with new generation of kids. Society, it doesn't bring enough advertising revenue for a premier sponsor to care, then it's not worth this TV airtime. Part of the reason why that is because of how they cover it. Did you realize that the way that this last Diamond League did it it was 2 hours of time? Pole vault, look, for instance, did you know that pole vault is more popular than the 200-meter dash? But maybe for you, you might not look at it like that. But I can prove to you all of these things. Pole vault is much more popular by far, not even close, than the 200-meter dash. And on the surface of it, you're like, wait a minute, what? That's why Duplantis went to Europe, because in the USA, it might appear that way. And in Jamaica or some other places, it might appear that way. But in Europe, you could get paid more money because although it is popular in the USA and is very popular in the US, right? The US doesn't really pay like that. So Duplantis was like, I can stay as a US citizen or I can represent another country. He could have even been a US citizen that competed in Europe. No, he just said, I'm gonna switch my I'm gonna have my nationality here because his parents and stuff like that. So he has the ability to do either or. Duplantis said, I'm doing this. So he's over there taking advantage of that interest and the payments that they have. Pole vault is very popular. I didn't know that until I found the interest myself. And it's probably because of how the event is. It's hard for me to explain it. I can't tell why other people like it. I can only say why I like it. So, and then thank you for the £2 super chat, Ken M. Shout out to you. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that contributes PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat, and every other form that I have available. It really does help the channel grow, and it's going to help me with even having the moderators paid and everything. We getting them through a trial series right now, but they definitely are helping. So shout out to all the moderators like South Croy. He comes out for most of them. I was actually going to tell him not to come out today because the Athletics and Chill is a different one. We don't get as many trolls here. So it's not like it's not the same feel for it. I got to tell them ahead of time, though. So it's not like the requirement the same way as the other ones. So they said 3 hours TV time for Diamond League final here in the UK. Nice. So y'all had it a little bit early. So yeah. Society said, I had no idea. Yeah, the 200 is not as popular as there. Now, you get confused with Usain Bolt or Michael Johnson. The personalities can draw in a crowd, but without them there, like Elaine Thompson-Herah, go and watch the amount of viewers for the 200 versus the amount of viewers for the pole vault, and you're going to be like, wow, your eyes are going to be open. And you're going to be like, and this data is available. The Google search trends because that tells you how many people are searching for it. Now the dollars are not necessarily translating for whatever reason, because they're trying to figure out how to make pole vault even more popular. Now, pole vault used to be less popular than the 200, but what they wound up doing was they used to have 90 seconds run up time. Then they shortened it down to a minute. Then they said, all right, 30 seconds. And then that's when the pole vaulters said, oh, wait a minute. Hell no. We're not about to do no 30-second run up thing here. And then they pushed back. But they were trying to make it more popular for the TV. Then, and Bubka was trying to secure his, nobody was going to break his record. Like the pole vault has changed so much. The record that Bubka had shouldn't even have lasted as long, because as soon as he became administrator, he changed the event, which at that point, even he would not have set the world record by his own rule changing. So it should have been like an asterisk mark next to his record. That's what it should have been. So they said, Tamario Palacios said Bahamas. I don't get it. I don't get what the Bahamas means. You just said Bahamas. But anyway, yeah, that's what we're looking at here with track and field. There are certain events here. The 13 events that I will have, I'm going to have that in the future. And I looked at the numbers here. You'll be surprised that some field events are more popular than these running events, and that some distance events are more popular than the sprint events. You'll be like, what? When I put that data in front of your face, you're going to be like, what the heck? Look, the 200, look, this is the last thing I'm going to have on the screen. And I promise, guys, it's going to be the last thing, because I'm going to do that before my back starts hurting again, and my neck, right? Because I got this TV cranked up too high or whatever, and I'm too close to it. Let me do this. Let me bring up two different things. So I'm gonna bring up Allison Felix's net worth, and I'm gonna bring up Shelly Ann Fraser Price's net worth. Because remember, Allison Felix does a whole host of events, right? She does a whole host of events. There is something different about that. Here we go. I'm going to bring this up on the screen. Now, obviously, I can zoom in more to this and everything like that than there. Society, thank you for the Canadian $5 super chat. He says, thanks for covering track and field. I appreciate it. Uh-oh. Looks like I'm a buffer here. They said we don't want you to cover the they don't want you to cover the net worth. Here it is. Okay, Shelly Ann Fraser Price net worth. Let's zoom in very quickly. Hopefully you guys are not buffered on me, even though it says it's buffering right now. Now, we're going to zoom in here. Let's bring up Allison Felix net worth as well. All right. Now, obviously, these are estimates. These are the best estimates that we got right now, okay? So just take it with a grain of salt or kelp or whatever it is. Here is Shelly Ann Fraser Price's net worth, right? Here's Allison Felix's net worth. Now, you would think, because she's in the USA, so here I'm about to blow out your minds, and I'm going to do a full video on this, because people keep saying, well, if Shelly Ann Fraser Price was in the USA, she would be making more money or something like that. Or if this, or she would be more popular. Look, I'm going to tell you like this, and she don't even got the same amount of followers that Allison Felix has, right? There might be something to do with this. Now, I'm going to break down why very shortly here, and then I'm going to end it right here because we're almost at 2 hours. But I'm going to do a full blown out video of why this is, because there's more context in here. I'm going to oversimplify it. But look, Shelly Ann Fraser Price, $4 million net worth, right? Now, she was at the Olympics from she was 21 years old, right? They said Europe and Africa viewed the entire Diamond League. In the USA, NBC only showed the sprints. Steve Patrick said. See, that's the problem. You can't get an interest with people. Let me do this. You can't get an interest with people if you only show certain events. How do they ever get a chance to get an interest if you only show certain events? That's the problem with track and field. You don't even give them a chance to do that. That is the biggest, and I say hugest issue with how they cover it, especially in the US. It's like working up against the wall. You know why? It's gonna be competing against football and all of these other sports. And I think there's a sabotage mission that goes on within track and field. It's a sabotage mission. Now, anyway, here we go. Ken M is laughing. I think he's laughing about the networks. Now, remember, Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, 21 years old. Now, when did Allison Felix get in there? She was 18 years old, and she came in there one Olympic sooner. So you telling me somebody came in one Olympic sooner? She left Adidas for Nike, right? So that means she would have renegotiated. Then Nike said, yo, we ain't making enough money. Now, there must be a reason. Now, she dropped Nike. There must be a reason, because they wanted to renegotiate, and they said, nah, we ain't going to pay you whatever you want. And matter of fact, we're going to pay you so much less. This is what we're going to give you, probably a quarter of whatever she was making before. Now, something about her personality or whatever it was. Now, you know, she gets blown up in the U.S. media. She gets blown up to high proportions during track. Remember, during track. Keyword, during track, which barely gets any coverage in the USA. Now, you guys being track-centric people, you have an echo chamber. You got an echo chamber. And that's what I want to say. That's what I wanted to say a whole 2 hours ago. I forgot to say that. There's an echo chamber in track and field. So there's an assumption that this sport is interesting outside to other people just because it's interesting to you. I find track and field boring, right? But you guys are like, wait a minute, he's covering track and field. Because I've done track and field, right? And I do find an interest in it. But the lead up, the coverage to it, oh no, that's boring. The lead up to it, the hype leading up to it is flat out, straight out boring. If it wasn't your own country person, think of it this way. For the Jamaicans that listen to this, if it wasn't a Jamaican right there, would you truly be interested in track and field, right? Would you truly be there if you had no Jamaican representation at all? Y'all just had the high school level and then you saw everybody else. You would probably casually look at it, but you wouldn't be there on a large scale, because the coverage on how it's so hard to find a track meet is you don't know when it's going to be there and everything. That's why World Athletics is developing its own media complex here. And I wish I can get media rights here so that we could actually do something different, because I would be covering the actual races, and trust and believe, I didn't get paid a lot of money to announce because I suck at announcing. Like y'all see, I'm entertaining on here. I might mess up here and there where y'all gonna get angry at me, and I can see y'all comments. I'm gonna be like, dang, hey, look, I'm gonna ignore the comments at that point. Y'all gonna be talking about me like y'all talk about Otto on the announcing, because I'm gonna be coming up in the lead, blah blah blah, and whatever, and I'll probably try to play around. It's gonna fail sometimes, because sometimes I announced it didn't always go through, but I'm gonna experiment with what I'm doing until I find the working formula. Here we go. They say it's got to be appealing to folks like the NFL and NBA. Yeah, so here we go. She started at 18, came in Athens. She was a world junior record holder at some point, right? Which, funny enough, I'm not even going to bring that up. So all she could get was a $4.5 million net worth for 4 extra years of being in track and field ahead of Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. 4 more years on the world stage, right? On the world stage of Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. 4 extra years of extreme hard pounding, because she would have went to the World Juniors and stuff before that, right? She would have gone to the World Championships after that. Oh, wait a minute. This was something else I did for another video. I clicked the wrong thing. Wrong direction. Anyway, you guys are going to see that video later. Society said, I stopped watching track and field because Bolt retired. Only started watching again this year because the women were running super fast. Now, you see that? Here's somebody being honest. Here's somebody being honest. People are literally there for certain people. So when somebody's complaining that people are only watching because Sha'Carri Richardson, well, I only watched basketball when Michael Jordan was playing, and when he left, I barely watched it. I kept it in. Then Steph Curry, Derrick Rose, they kind of brought me back in. Aside from that, and then keeping up with the Spurs, I was like, man, Spurs must be my favorite team, because I'll casually watch them, and if they made a team or something like that, I will watch. But aside from that, I was like, basketball is stupid. Like, in my head, I'm just like, I don't have any interest in it. So that's how it is. And then Ling said, I think track and field is boring if you didn't grow up watching it. Yeah. Also, yeah, my buddy, he grew up watching track and field. I grew up watching basketball. Like, I went to the Bulls games. I saw Michael Jordan play. I wanted to go to schools in college that were good for basketball at the time, and everything. So, but I didn't personally care for it otherwise. But here, sticking on topic, 21-year-old, right? It says, and defended her title in London. Now, what's the biggest difference here? What's the biggest difference? You're going to say the amount of goals that she got? Nope. You're going to say how dominant she was? Potentially. The biggest difference between Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, 4 less years on the world stage now, 4 less years, very similar ages. I think they're only 1 year difference in age. Let me see. Aren't they just 1 year difference in age? So, yeah. So, they would have been training about the same time. It's just Allison Felix got bigger sooner, right? The difference between $500,000 with 4 extra years of pounding and running at an elite level between Allison Felix and Shelly Ann Fraser-Price comes down to one thing and one thing only. The 100-meter dash. It's a highlight premier event. And Allison Felix is not that good. Just like Michael Johnson wasn't that good in the 100. Allison Felix is not that good in the 100. Karsten Warholm, compared to the decathlon, coming over to the 400 hurdles, he's making way more money because decathletes are some of the lowest, and I mean lowest. The hammer throwers and decathletes get paid the lowest in track and field. I, at one point, had barely wanted to watch it. And even this year, barely wanted to watch the decathlon. I was like, man, I kind of feel bad. I want to watch race walking before I want to watch decathlon. Why is that? And I'm like, oh, because I can see how fast these other athletes are, and my mind cannot separate how fast these other athletes are, and then I see a decathlete, and then I'm seeing them run this quote-unquote slow. But because they're doing so many events, my mind is some way I got to be able to separate it, and I still have not been able to separate it. And that's how most people are viewing it. They just don't want to watch it. Now, when I saw some of the Americans in there and other people competing, I got excited because they were American. If it wasn't for that, I'm just like, okay, I'm watching this because I'm going to cover it on the track and field channel. But if it was not that, I wouldn't have gone out of my way to watch it. And then I found potential future talent in the 100 and the long jump from Canada from watching it. So if they switch over from that, which I think they should, they will probably be a good feature in the 100, in the men's. They say in the USA, they have options. In Kenya, track is king. TV will cater to its various audience, Steve Patrick said. Yep. They said Elaine and Shelly are worth $4 million. So let me go to Elaine Thompson-Herah. But yeah, like I said, the thing is 100 is the sprint premier event. If you're a distance runner, what event are you going to go to? 1500. That's the premier event for the mid distance or distance. That's what you would go to. That's the moneymaker. So Elaine Thompson-Herah, even less. Why does she have just as much as Shelly Ann Fraser-Price? One of the reasons could be is because she signed a contract later. Remember, Usain Bolt opened the door. Shelly Ann Fraser-Price was at the cusp. Usain Bolt, it wasn't talked about how much he was. You know, Elaine, this tells me Elaine Thompson-Herah has made more money in her deals than Shelly Ann Fraser-Price did. Why? She's younger. Two, she hasn't been as dominant. Yet she's able to command this. Why? That's due to her agent. Part of the reason, and I'm doing a follow-up video on that Nike one, part of the reason is your agent has to negotiate these contracts. And she came after. Usain Bolt opened the door. He split open the door. He popped the cherry of these secretive non-disclosure agreement contracts that athletes have. Maybe she still has one, but when Puma said, we're paying Usain Bolt $10 million a year, then every other company, literally, I saw it time and time and time again. Nike, Reebok / Adidas, and everything else, Puma especially, they said, oh, this is how much we're paying our athletes now. Now it was no longer a secret. We know that Sydney McLaughlin had $1 million contract. We know that she did because coming straight out of high school. Technically, she went to college for a few months and then stopped. But we know how much she made because of Puma and Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt was the door opener for the sport and bringing people in. If Richardson can get a win, she's going to do the 1-2 punch of Usain Bolt, right? She's going to be the female version that if she gets a win, whether y'all like it or not, really, for real, whether y'all like it or not, all neutral here, all business. She's going to be the person that she will solidify what Usain Bolt just started because of her personality and how she accidentally got all of those followers. That was not an on-purpose thing. I don't think you could have planned that out, but she accidentally got those, and how the media machine works, she just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Well, if she gets a win sooner than later, or actually if she can lose 2 more championships and then come back at the Olympics, oh, wow, that's going to be a success story that the USA loves to do, and humans love that. Oh, she worked hard. She's doing this. Okay, she's doing this. She finally got it when she turned 23, 24. She's going to blow the hell up. You're going to see this $4 million like nothing. She'll be like $13, $14 million, probably $20 million or something like that. And it's going to open the door for other athletes. That we need a 1-2 punch from Usain Bolt. Michael Jordan opened the door for the NBA because it was flailing and flopping around for huge contracts. Michael Jordan opened the door for that. And then after Michael Jordan, we started getting a Kobe Bryant. We started getting other people. We started getting people to command contracts. That's what Usain Bolt did to us. And that's why I'm grateful for that. That's why Elaine Thompson-Herah has this net worth that's next to Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. And why Allison Felix also doesn't have that much, because she had a secretive Nike agreement. She's got it stuck for a long time. When she tried to renegotiate, they said, middle finger, we ain't going to give you no nothing for your baby because you signed for us before that you didn't want to have paid family leave, and we're going to pay you a quarter of what you were having before. Hey, how take this? We don't get no money off of you. And then they was just like, nah, that's good. They said at a certain point, society said at a certain point, the athlete should know they are choosing an event that people aren't entertained by. Track relies too much on national pride, but not actual entertainment. There we go. Society, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Because if I cover somebody, because we have so many Jamaicans here, if I cover and I say I'm going to cover an event, right? It's not going to get people to click on it. I can't control y'all emotions. But if I did something with basketball, as I see other channels, you could just cover that. Now, a certain individual athlete is still always going to have more coverage than maybe the sport itself, right? Because an individual athlete can supersede that. Shelly Ann Fraser-Price is going to supersede the women's 100. If I say women's 100, okay, there's going to be a certain click through. There's going to be a certain amount of people that click because especially if you know that Shelly Ann Fraser-Price won, you're going to click it. Right, and it still might have a high. But if I say Shelly Ann Fraser-Price wins the women's 100, it's going to be so many more millions of people click that video and watch it. Versus if I said women's 100 final. Because, and then some people will be so upset. Why did you put the person's title in the name? Okay, do I got to explain that? Like, people be so mad when they see that. They do the same thing in football and everything else. Now, the difference is that people are so interested in soccer, they can do a highlight of Neymar Jr. or Ronaldo, and then they can say, oh, Premier League final, and then people will watch the Premier League final because then they'll know. But track and field isn't that popular, so you need to use the person's name a lot of times. Oh, let me see this. They said the Jamaican discus thrower is opening doors. Lifestyle Conic Media said. Yeah, I think so too. I do agree. And what is his Fedricks? Yeah. Now, I think that Alan Taylor, I think you coming in late. They said America is not the world. Track is way bigger in Europe. I just covered this already. That people keep saying that Shelly Ann Fraser-Price will be more popular in the USA if she was a US athlete, right? And that she would make more money. You're coming in late, so you didn't see my, I'm assuming you coming in late. So you didn't hear my argument, but I'm going to go over it very quickly. If that's the case, then that means the USA is the world. Why? Because USA athletes are admired around the world. The same thing. Just think for a second. Stop for a second. Pull back. Nobody even said that the USA is not the world, but think of it this way. Sure, it's more popular, but USA athletes get more appearance fees for showing up in Europe than European athletes that show up at their own meets. Mic drop. Boom. Now, another thing is that if you are a dominant if you're a dominant athlete, for example, let me go back here. Let's go back. Here is Allison Felix. She's barely got more net worth than Lane Thompson Hera and Shelly Ann Fraser Price, and they're Jamaicans. So there's a myth that somebody's going to get more because they're in the U.S. or anything else. It literally doesn't matter because track and field is international. And just like what was being said here, it depends on what event you're in. The 100 is more popular than the most popular sprint event. It's going to get paid more no matter what. You just can't even argue with it. It's just the most popular. People come through and watch that. The 200 is less popular than the pole vault. More people are going to watch the 200, with the exception if there's a personality that's so big. There's a reason why Duplantis can hold up the meet and people are putting the cameras on him as a 20-year-old, and he's over there. See this. Let me look up Armand Duplantis. And like I said, I'm going to go into full detail on a future video, but this is just a preview for you guys. What the heck? Is my internet down or something? It says network interrupted. What the heck? They said the world will not love the same thing. That is. Oh, they said the world will not love the same thing. Steve Patrick said the world will not love the same thing. Track and field is a multiple of events. Let the world tune in to what it wants to watch. Yeah, exactly. Did I spell his name wrong? Oh my goodness. Is it Armand Duplantis? Let me see. Maybe if I just type in Duplantis. Guys, am I spelling his name wrong? No, not Jesse Duplantis. Oh, maybe they just don't have him. Yeah, maybe they just don't have him on here. Because he's so young. I'm willing to be like, what is a thing mode? But that's going to be a different one. I don't want to change the subject here. We're going to look at that in the future. But it is what it is at this point. We're going to do a net worth watch here in the future and show how we can grow this. But thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate you guys for doing that super chat. Every single pound, Canadian dollar, American dollar, or whatever counts, as well as every single Cash App, PayPal, and crypto donation counts toward growing this channel. I really do appreciate it. I can't emphasize it enough. Thank you guys for coming out to episode 3 of Athletics and Chilled. Is track and field viewed as a joke to the world, and is track and field doomed? I appreciate you guys coming out, and I'm going to leave you all on this. Let's kiss the diamond. Let's try to grow this sport and keep it up, or not. And you just guys will be entertained by what you're entertained by. That's fine. But on my end, I'm going to try to grow the sport, push ideas that are conducive for growing the sport. Keep trying to do coverage of everything, even though I know I got mainly people that are here for sprint events. And when I finally covered the 100 and 200 yesterday, they said, finally. It was a person that said, finally. They were listening to the stream the whole way through until I got to the 200. And the guy said, finally. And then I'm like, dang, that's crazy. But like, that's how it is with track. It's so many different events. I'm cutting it down to 13. That's going to be our next one. So tune in next week. When we have Athletics and Chill, it's going to be at 9 a.m. Central USA time. Once again, we're going to do this every single week for episode number 4. I'm thinking about the subject, about what we're going to do. But as it stands right now, it's probably going to have to do something along the lines of either net worth or something. If you want to bring up a topic of Athletics and Chill, become a second tier Patreon member. It's in the link in the description. You can bring up topics about choosing what events that we cover as well as topics of everything else. Now, you just will have a vote on it. It's not going to be like you just say it and I'll make it next. Now, that's going to be the producer status. You got to be paying a lot. But when it comes down to the general thing, it's going to be, we're covering, you're going to have influence on that. And then Society said, appreciate the coverage. No problem. Ken is laughing. South Croy said, it's not encouraging from a young athlete's point of view, the kind of money that is made from the sport. Exactly. And that's what we're going to come in the future. Oh, you know what? Yeah, you know what? That might be a future topic right there. So